Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to be going over a systematic review and meta-analysis of multi-component interventions through schools to increase physical activity. So to begin, we have the introduction. So to start with an overview, so physical inactivity among youth is a growing public health concern, with nearly half of the U.S. children and adolescents failing to meet the national recommendation of at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity each day. Again, schools are one of the best places to change that, just because students are there and they already have time built in for movement, whether that be through PE, recess, or after school programs. Again, despite these advantages, previous school-based programs have often showed limited success in increasing students' total daily activity. These results may stem from inconsistent delivery, low activity intensity, or replacing rather than adding opportunities for movement. To address these shortcomings, national guidelines recommended the Comprehensive School Physical Activity Program Framework, which is a coordinated whole of school approach that engages physical education in school, out of school, and then staff wellness, and then again through family and community partnerships. So the purpose of this study was to evaluate the effectiveness of multi-component school-based intervention designed to increase youth total daily physical activity. Specifically, the authors conducted a systematic review and meta-analysis of U.S. studies that incorporated at least two or more components of the Comprehensive School Physical Activity Program framework. By analyzing the outcomes across multiple programs, the researchers aim to determine whether integrating physical education in school, along with in-school activities, breaks, before and after school opportunities, staff wellness, and then again through family and community engagement. They wanted to see if all this was meaningful to improving the students' total daily activity levels overall. So here we have the Prisma flowchart, which just goes through and just shows how they included the 14 studies in the meta-analysis. So the next slide here is the methods. So in the methods, we're going to start with search strategy. So again, they started with databases and included Google Scholar and PubMed. And then again, it kind of just goes through to explain what they used when they went through Google Scholar and PubMed. So here they had period, they used keywords. And then again, we have the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So again, when they did all this, they wanted to include again, US K through 12 interventions, and then again, must report changes in total daily physical activity. And then for the exclusion criteria, they excluded studies outside of the US. Then again, it kind of just goes on to explain quality assessments and then data extraction and analysis. So here we have the results. So starting with a systematic review. In the systematic review, they used 14 studies representing 51,560 students across 307 U.S. schools. And again, the participants in this, they were ages 7 to 15. So again, K through 12. And again, for the systematic review, it was mostly elementary and then middle school. So moving on to the meta-analysis. Um, Again, the total effect analyzed was across 40 studies, was across 40, and then again 14 different studies. So the conclusion for the meta-analysis, so multi-component interventions show modest but meaningful gains in youth daily physical activity when multiple strategies were integrated. So this just further goes to explain the results. So again, these results show that when schools combine multiple strategies like improving PE, adding classroom activity breaks, offering before and after school programs, and involving families, students were more active overall. The increase isn't huge, but it is significant. So programs using three or more components saw noticeably better outcomes than those that focused just on PE. So again, it also goes to show you that how we measure activity matters. Again, objective tools like accelerometers capture smaller but more realistic effects. And then again, while self-reports may be exaggerated results. So the takeaway for this, again, if schools truly want to move the needle, they can't rely just on PE alone. They need to coordinate, again, the whole of school effort. which again, this is just going to make movement a more priority during the school day, and then again, just during the students' day as well. So starting here, most important to least. So more components equaled greater impact on total daily physical activity. And then again, PE alone produced minimal changes. Strongest effects came from when you combined some of the components. Again, family and community engagement improved consistency and participation. Staff wellness and involvement increased student motivation, and then again, school-wide support. Objective measures reported smaller but more accurate effects. And then again, self-report studies tend to overestimate physical activity gains. So overall, multi-components, school-wide interventions led to small but meaningful improvements in youth physical activity, especially when you incorporated 3 to 4 of these components together. So how can we connect this to other research phases? So this links directly to the benefits of physical activity research phases and demonstrates measurable behavioral outcomes. It also supports broader findings that are structured, accessible, and socially supported environments. Again, and it just showed that it improved physical activity and adherence. This also connects with measurement and intervention studies by showing how coordinated school programs can affect and benefit the public health recommendations. So again, this just builds a foundation for future research on the implementing 3 to 4, or even try to implement all of the components and use them together, just for long-term outcomes and better school-based physical activity programs. So practical applications. So schools should use a comprehensive school physical activity program. And then again, this model can be used to integrate movement throughout the whole school day instead of just for that PE section of the day. And then again, combine PE, in-class activity breaks, before and after school programs, and family engagement for stronger results. We want to encourage staff wellness initiatives so teachers model these behaviors as well. And then again, use findings to support distractive-wide health policies and curriculum planning. And then again, also, even small increase in physical activity can be meaningful and improve student health when it's focused on and when it's applied. So the strengths. So the first systematic review and meta-analysis examining multi-component school-based physical interventions. Again, it was a large sample size, so it had 51,560 participants, again, across 307 U.S. schools. It also followed the PRISMA guidelines, which makes this valid. And then it compared multiple components to identify which ones worked best in combination. And then again, it provided a clear data-driven evidence for school healthy policies and practices. So some of the weaknesses, it was a small overall effect size, which limited the magnitude of change. And then again, many of it relied on self-reported data, which may overestimate activity levels. And then few studies implemented all 5 of the components, which was a pretty big weakness. Most of them just included maybe 2 or 3 of the components instead of including all 5. So for future studies, maybe we could implement all 5 components and then test it to see if the full whole school approach works. And then again, focus on implementation and how consistently and accurately programs are delivered. And then again, examine long-term sustainability and student outcomes beyond just the initial intervention periods. We could also explore how the teachers train it, and then how administratives support and influence the program success as well. So again, my own personal take on this. So what stood out to me in this article is that even small changes in how school approach physical activities can make a real difference. The research the research shows that even when schools combine multiple strategies like PE, activity breaks, whether it be before and after school programs and in family involvement, students are simply more active. Again, to me, that's just the biggest takeaway. It's not about doing one thing. It's about building a culture where movement is part of the day. Again, I just think for these programs to really work, they need to be upheld by the teacher, and we need to have like staff buy-in to show support. Um, that this stuff can really make a difference and make a change. And then again, just support from an administration as well. And then we just need to show consistency from year to year as well. Again, that's just going to create a bigger buy-in. And that's it. Thank you.